Hi, I'm Gavin with Haverstick Designs, and welcome back to the Sound Project. So I'm sitting here with my friend Steven at Vintage Sound Studios, and thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So let's first start by just telling the audience a little bit about you and your journey into getting to where you are right now to have your own studio.
Okay. Well, I guess I didn't really come from a musical family so much, but started playing probably in the churches and stuff growing up. Mostly piano, but a little bit of bass guitar and other things. But kind of got into recording in college. I was going to school at Lipscomb in Nashville, and one of my roommates across the hall had a 4-track cassette recorder. Okay. So this would be in the early '90s, and so I was enamored with it. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. And I'd been playing, with bands and playing with church groups for a while, but I didn't know about the recording process.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my first, I guess, experience with recording. And multi-track recording was this little Fostex 4-track cassette recorder, and just fell in love with it. And from there went to, bigger and better, more equipment. We moved through the ADAT period where we had the stack of 3 ADATs and we were recording 24 tracks to that. And then I've always kind of had a recording studio type of setup in my house, over the years, and have kind of done it part-time. So ever since the dorm rooms, I've been, and that would be about 1995, I guess. Okay. Yeah. So for about 30 years now, I've been doing it off and on the side, and playing with bands, and having a day job, and doing all the things that we do to try to adult. And when we moved up here about 4 years ago, just kind of had an opportunity. It's like, well, I don't know if I want to keep having this kind of part-time studio in my basement type of situation. And we just started looking around, and doors started opening, and found this land back here in the back of the shopping center that nobody seemed to want. And so we got a great deal on this, and found someone to build a building, found another crew to come in and do some framing, found you guys first to help with the design and everything. And you guys were just a huge part of helping me make the decision that I wanted to pull the trigger on this. And it gets us to where we are now, I guess.
Nice. With the kind of growing up, and as you got into that recording side of things, you said you played in bands too. Sure. Was it something where you're in the band and then you also record the band? You're the guy who they go to for that sort of thing?
A little bit, not. For the most part, I didn't really know what I was doing with the recording. We all believed that we were supposed to make demos,
right?
And then we're supposed to annoy people with the demos. And so when I first moved up to Nashville to go to school, I did a little bit of that, going up and down Music Row and handing cassette tapes to people who would subsequently throw them in the trash or whatever. So I didn't really know how it worked, to answer your question. But no, for the most part, I was more of a player, and just and I didn't have any stage fright. I was introverted, so I hated being in the audience, right? I didn't want to be in a crowd of people, but I could walk on stage. I could learn songs. I learned the number system real quick, so I could learn songs real quick, get on stage and be comfortable in front of people. And
instrument of choices?
Bass guitar most of the time, but also keyboards and pianos.
Okay. What type of bands typically do you play in?
I was playing in just, some kind of pop rock type of stuff, but also church stuff. I've played with several Christian artists, and a little bit of country over the years as well. I had a knack for playing bass, country music, for playing bass for country bands. So I was able to fit in, and I could show up and play the bar gigs where you start at 9 and go till 1:30 in the morning, and just push through, and that stuff was a lot of fun for me.
Sure, yeah, it gets you a lot of experience, and I think learning a lot of different genres is probably nice for what you have here now as a studio. It's like you're helping to produce and lots of different types of music. So.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and the experience, like, I mean, I got to play with Christian artists. I got to travel and play in lots of different venues, different churches, but also large, like civic centers and places like that.
Yeah.
And then with country music, it's kind of some of the same things, some of the big country bars, but also got to play for CMA Fest a few times and some of the bigger country acts and got to see how the industry works behind the scenes. Got to go into some studios and see some of the magic being made and pick up and kind of glean over the years some of the little bits and pieces.
Nice. Well, I know that you mentioned that you had found us kind of first as you're starting this project, and I think you actually found us on YouTube. So
I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
and so it was nice to have that kind of first conversation with you about what you're planning to do. And it's actually a conversation I have with a lot of clients where I think this was a 40-foot by 75-foot pole barn, and like, what can I fit in there comfortably, still meet codes and make sure that people can get through the building easily. But you had a kind of a wish list, like when we started, about what you wanted, and you're just like, I'm not sure if this will all fit in here or not.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our first part of the project. It was just like coming up with a layout that makes sense for you. And was it what we came up with? Was it anything like what you thought it was going to be?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first call to you guys, I think I talked to Oscar.
Yeah.
And he just talked to me on the phone for I don't know, probably an hour.
Yeah.
And he was just such an awesome guy to talk to. And he's like, well, do you have any ideas and some layout ideas? I'm like, yeah. So I just emailed that stuff over. And what we ended up with was kind of similar to like the direction I had in mind. Granted, I had done the basement studios for a number of years, and so I kind of knew what worked for me. And I've been in several studios where I've seen, if we could have that type of layout, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. And so it's just over the years trying to get all of those bits and pieces and into one design or one plan. And you guys, I think, took my scribblings and I said, well, you could do this. I'm like, ooh, I like that. And you could do this. And so I think it really turned out to be a dream, what could be a dream studio for anybody.
Yeah, I mean,
great space.
Walking in today, because this happens often if we're doing a project remotely like this one. We didn't come on site and do any testing. Is as you walk in and you see the space for the first time that you only lived in AutoCAD and SketchUp. Like that's all I have seen the space in, and obviously photos after it was done. But you guys did a great job with it. And
thank you.
A lot of work though. A
lot of work.
Is that I guess on that side of things, once you had the design from us, and then you had to implement that, was that process what you thought it was going to be?
It was, I mean, it was. I think it was just it's always a matter of finding the right people. You can find people who do things, but if you can get people that communicate, that return phone calls, that show up, then you're ahead of the curve. So it took a lot of research, and we were new to this area. We had just moved up here about 4 years ago and didn't really know a lot of people out here, and weren't familiar with building codes and all the things. Because I've never done a commercial project before. I'd always done things in my basement, and so I kind of had a lot to learn, and I learned a ton from you guys. But then I learned as far as buying the real estate, buying a piece of land, finding someone who could put a building up. What kind of building should I get, and how much space should I go for? And I was trying to err on the side of more space because again, it's my goals were to be able to do something here that you can't do in your bedroom. Right. And that's what I feel like I feel like what I'm competing with, because I've met so many people who are like, oh, you don't need to build a recording studio in 2025. We've got, a laptop in a bedroom, and that's how you're supposed to. I'm like, So trying to prioritize, well, what do I need to have in order to be relevant and to make this make sense? Yeah. And I think big rooms, tall ceilings, being able to record a full band at a time. These are things you cannot do in your apartment or in your bedroom. And so I needed to make sure I was focused on those things. And I think you guys really helped, bring that vision to life.
Yeah.
As far as getting the design, make the design work, and maximize the space.
Yeah. Well, and you've got, you have a control room A, an ISO booth right off to the side, this big live room that we're sitting in here.
Right.
3 more ISO booths that you can further isolate people if you need to, and then even like a Studio B and a ISO room for it as well. So you have a lot of capabilities, and even to the point where you can have multiple people. Someone's renting out B while someone else is in A, and did the isolation as such to where it's not gonna interfere between them.
Yeah, for sure. It's great. And there's enough isolation, or if someone's giving a lesson in here, we can be over there mixing.
Right.
And have perfect, it's perfectly isolated, so we're not bothering each other at all.
That's awesome.
Great.
I know you've been booking since January, right? So like, how's that been going? Like, what kind of acts do you typically have come in?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I'm out here in the country, and I'm not much of a country boy, to be honest. I'm kind of a city guy. I was raised mostly around Atlanta, but we, some of our first records were kind of pop. Our first project was a kind of a pop, ambient type of record, and then we have had some country people come through, kind of alternative rock, some folk. We're releasing a project that's just a girl, 17-year-old girl who played the piano, and it sounds amazing. Awesome. She recorded it on the Steinway right over there.
Nice.
And so that's coming out right now, but it's just her and a piano. So it's just been a great variety of things. We have had some rap come through, and I've met several other producers as well who can use the space. To bring some of their artists through.
I'm sure, like we're in Clarksville, Georgia, and I'm sure there's probably not a lot of places like this around here.
There are not.
Yeah,
there are not.
I'm sure once the word gets out of, hey, this studio exists, and look at all the capabilities it has, you'll get even more calls.
Right. It seems to be ramping up. So we're very encouraged.
Awesome. We were talking off camera a little bit about how you do some lessons too for students, which is a cool thing, kind of growing that part of the business as well. And what type of instruments will you train people on?
Well, I've toured professionally as a bass player and as a keyboard piano player, and so I can teach contemporary piano as well as bass guitar. But we have another lady who teaches classical, who's a Juilliard graduate.
Wow.
Who's fantastic. And so she's starting to use the space here to do classical piano.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for more students to come in and work with her. I have talked to a couple of different drummers who were interested in using the space to teach drums to kids mostly.
Yeah.
Because we do have a digital drum kit and a regular analog drum kit that we can set both kits up at the same time and give lessons that way. So
that's awesome. I know that it feels like probably the dust has just settled on constructing this place, but what's your vision like long term for what you want the studio to be?
Well, I think it's maybe a little bit, we have a little bit of that Muscle Shoals type of dream factor going on, as far as being that place in the middle of nowhere that people kind of escape the big city to come out to and record their projects. But I think just having a good balance of recording people who they're wanting to start their careers, or they're wanting to continue their careers in a serious way. So teaching people, educating people, getting an opportunity to have some of these, not just lessons, but perhaps workshops. You know, people, there's several churches around here that could come and use the space, learn about singing harmony vocals, learn how to use in-ears, or learn how to mix, and some of the technical things that go on in contemporary churches. And then there's just participating in the community. That's kind of the third aspect of what we're trying to do. And we already connected with a local venue who hosted a battle of the bands, and we helped sponsor that and provided some prizes. Hey, there's some free studio time for the winner to come in. So we're interested in all three aspects. The recording and producing, the education aspect, as well as just the community involvement part of that. So
That's awesome. Well, I'm gonna get really excited that we've been working on this for a little while, and you've put in all the hard work to build it, and it's here now. And
It's
so
here.
now it's just a matter of putting it to use. And like I said, I think once people find out that this exists here, which I'm guessing probably word of mouth is where a lot of things are happening now. But what's the
Yes.
best way for people to get a hold of you?
I think just going to the website is a good place to start. It's vintagesoundstudios.com. But we also have the Instagram. And It's at Vintage Sound Studios. Those are great places to connect and see what's going on and learn about the studio or just to reach out to us.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time to be on the podcast. Thanks so much,
course.
and looking forward to seeing what else happens.
Yeah, thank you for visiting us.
Well, that's been another episode of The Sound Project. Thanks for being a part of it, and we'll see you next week.